Hello everyone, today we are doing about Costa Cabana review. Today I'll be sharing with you about how you should shortlist your unit because some of you are actually asking, should I go for the sea view because the sea view is so beautiful? Is it worth paying a premium for a sea view? And should I go for the higher floor or the lower floor? Or if I'm not going for this Costa Cabana at the Pasir Ris, should I wait for the Tampines EC? So I'll be sharing with you all these answers for today. So at a glance, you can see the Costa Cabana facilities and pictures. It looks very beautiful. Even here at the facilities clubhouse, we have 4 function rooms and we have also other facilities such as the games room, music room, karaoke room at the basement and also a yoga studio. So there's a lot of facilities at the Costa Cabana EC and it's something that is very exciting. So you should definitely watch to the end of the video so that you know how to shortlist the unit if you have already submitted your e-application for the EC. And if you haven't submitted your e-application, please contact me at my number because it's very important for you to submit application before you are actually eligible for the ballot. And if you have already missed it, no worries, maybe you can wait for a bounce out unit or wait for a Tampines EC instead. So this is how I'll go through the video with you today. Firstly, I have a brief summary of the Costa Cabana EC if you don't already know what this is. Secondly, the question about sea view premium facing. So in terms of sea view, how much is it worth paying for a sea view and is it worth for your own stay or investment? So we'll be using Ripper Bay, which is a nearby condo, as a case study. Then we'll be looking into the layouts of the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom and how you should select your unit on the ballot day and whether you should wait for the Tampines EC that is coming out in March 2026. And if you're waiting for the Tampines EC, what's the price of the Tampines EC as compared to this Costa Cabana Pasir Ris EC? And last but not least, I'll summarize everything that you need to know about this Costa Cabana EC and all the tips for you buyers out there. And if you haven't already done so, please help me to follow my free Telegram group chat where I'll be sharing all the market updates before you actually get the news from your agents. So this is a summary about Costa Cabana project. So the most exciting is that this is actually right next to the beach or park. So you can actually walk to the Pasir Ris park that is within 7 minutes walk away. And right next to your house over here, you actually have the E-Hub and also the Downtown East. So this gives you access to a lot of amenities including McDonald's, KFC, FairPrice and also like Don Donki. So you have a lot of facilities right around you, both the park and also the mall and also the food and also the tuition centers and all. And also you have not one but 2 sheltered bus stops along here and one more at this area. So these 2 sheltered bus stops also have many buses that brings you to different areas and it's much more convenient for you for this project. So for a summary, where do these buses go? You actually go to these places including the Pasir Ris, Tampines, Punggol, Newton, Orchard and also the Great Wall. And also if you have already seen, we are very close to the Pasir Ris MRT. So once you take 2 bus stops to the Pasir Ris MRT, if you do not feel like walking, you can easily reach the Pasir Ris MRT and this is the most exciting part. You have the Cross Island line which is almost ready when you collect the key. And with the Cross Island line, you only need to take 3 stops for you to reach the Punggol MRT stations. In the future, there's one more line which will be the Changi Airport Terminal 5 that will be linked over here. So it's very exciting for this Cross Island line because you have many interchanges along the way and you'll be very convenient to go to different parts of Singapore. So Costa Cabana, even though the place might not be familiar to you, this is a place that is very convenient and a lot of owners have waited more than 16 years just for an EC and this is the last plot of land that is left in the Pasir Ris area. So let's jump right into the Costa Cabana site plan. So basically a lot of the units are either north facing on top or they are south facing at the bottom. So you do not see any back facing here which is like the west facing because a lot of Singaporeans do not like the west suns. All the units are north south facing. So if you are looking to face the sea view will be actually on top in the north side. So only the units that are at the top will see the sea view. So likelihood you'll be expecting to pay a premium for the sea view because there is very few units that can see the sea view. And in fact, you need to be above level 8 to be able to see the sea view because in front of this building, there are still some low-rise buildings and trees which will be around 5 level or 5.5 level. So if you want to see a proper sea view, then I would recommend from level 8. So you only have options from level 8 all the way to level 11 for these stacks in front for you to be able to see the sea view. So for the sea view facing ones, they are really very premium in this whole entire Costa Cabana EC. And over here, how many bedrooms do we have? We actually have many different layouts. So we have 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom and also the 5-bedroom 5-bedroom. So in terms of percentage, of course, the 3-bedroom have majority and 46.7% of the units types are actually belonging to a 3-bedroom. There's a smaller 3-bedroom and there's also bigger 3-bedroom with a study. Then we have a 4-bedrooms. Total, the 4-bedrooms that we have is around 50.4%. Most of the layouts in this development are either the 3-bedrooms or the 4-bedrooms layouts that we have over here. And the 5-bedrooms, definitely there are only 2 stacks, and both of the 2 stacks will be the ones that will be facing the sea view over here. So these are the estimated price for the Coastal Cabana. Feel free to take a screenshot of this price for the Coastal Cabana. So the exact price of the different units and layouts will be out on 14 and 15 January. So if you have already submitted an e-application and you're eligible for the EC, then you will be able to see the exact price of all the units on 14 and 15 January 2026. So if you're someone looking at this chart, you don't know how to look at the different prices, what you can also see is the different layouts are in different colors. And also we have like the lower floor starting from $1,650 PSF. So this is how you gauge the prices for the units that you will be selecting later on. So the key question for today is it worth paying for the sea view, and how much premium is worth paying for sea view? Because as you know, there's not a lot of sea view facing units for this Coastal Cabana, and also for the Coastal Cabana, only this one whole row can get it. But if you look at other developments, is there any other developments that have the similar facing? So here we have one very similar facing. Is actually Ripper Bay, because if you look at the beside sea horizon, in fact it's actually east and west facing to maximize partial sea view versus this Coastal Cabana. And that's why today I'll be actually using Ripper Bay for reference so that you can gauge is it worth paying for the sea view and how much do you want to pay. So if you were to rewind back into 2012, imagine today is 2012 and you're actually choosing Ripper Bay, a unit with sea view. So which one will you actually choose? Will you choose the ones that have sea view, or will you choose the ones that are non-sea view facing, which is very similar in this case of the Coastal Cabana? So for the sea view facing, right, if you were to zoom in the yellow ones, and also for the 3-bedroom, and also the purple ones for the 4-bedroom, these are the stacks for the sea view for the 3-bedroom and for the 4-bedroom. So for the 3-bedroom sea facing is actually stacked 40, 54, 49 and 62, and for the 4-bedroom that are sea facing is actually stacked 46 and 57. So which one will you choose? Maybe you pause for 5 seconds and think, will you rather pay premium for this, or will you rather buy the other stacks? So now let's fast forward to 2025, 2026, that is over 10 years. Is it worth paying the sea view premiums? So the first example that I have over here is actually 3-bedroom Ripper Bay data for the sea view facing and also the non-sea view facing. So for the sea view facing, we do have the higher floor, level 12, level 11. You can see that when they bought the price, it was around 1.15 million, 1.16 million. So fast forward, of course, they did earn a profit. How much profit did these sea view facing units owners own? So the profits that they actually earn is around 300 plus thousand and close to 200k. This is quite a healthy profit across over 10 years period. But if you're looking at a non-sea view facing and you can actually buy cheaper than your neighbor because you're not facing the sea view, how much can you actually buy at that day? On that day, the difference in terms of the price is around 935,000 and also $1 million. And because of the lower price for the non-premium units that are not facing the sea view, wow, you can see the difference in the profits. The difference in the profits is around double or 3 times the actual profit of a sea view facing. So my question to you is, do you prioritize staying in the unit itself, or do you prioritize more about the profits? If you're looking at profits, then perhaps you can also consider the non-sea view facing units, because they tend to have a higher profit because they do not have any premiums for facing the sea view. And if you're prioritizing for your stay in the long run for 10 years, 15 years, then definitely you can consider a sea view facing unit. So is this the same for a 4-bedroom Ripper Bay unit that is facing the sea view and non-sea view unit? So let's take a look. So here's the result for 4-bedroom that is facing the sea. So for 4-bedroom that is facing the sea, the profit is around 176,000 to 252,000. And versus if you're not facing the sea, for the similar sizes and also bedroom type of 4-bedroom, your profits can actually be again 2 times or 3 times much more than the ones that are facing the sea view. Because in fact, with the similar budget of this purchase price, you can actually either purchase a bigger unit or you can purchase at a lower quantum, which will in return allow you to have a higher return in the future. Why is this so? Because often in the future, you'll realize that a lot of buyers in the resale market, they are not willing to pay for sea view facing. So even though you're paying upfront to the developer, it doesn't mean that your buyer in the future, when you want to exit the market, they are willing to pay for the sea view. So when you're looking at the sea view units, you want to calculate on that day how much is the difference between the sea view and non-sea view. Then you make a decision, is it worth it paying for a sea view facing unit? And if you're already confused which is a better option for you, no worries, you can feel free to contact contact me and I can actually guide you on shortlisting the unit. So if you haven't already done so, because you have been telling me that a lot of you are not subscribed, please help me to subscribe and like the videos so that I feel appreciated and can do more useful videos for you. Thank you so much. Just help me to hit the thumbs up. Moving on to the unit selection, we will start analyzing the 3-bedroom followed by 4-bedroom, then the 5-bedroom units. So for the 3-bedroom units, there's actually 4 different layouts that are available for the 3-bedroom units. So you can see that for C1A and also the C1B units, right, they are actually the same size of 872 square feet. So C1A and C1B, they're actually mirror units. There isn't much difference except for the facing that they're facing and the orientation. So for the C1A unit, you have stack 12 and stack 15, and for the C1B units, you have stack 17 and stack 22. The good thing about the Coastal Cabana EC is that all the windows in the kitchen and also the bathroom, they are naturally ventilated. What does it mean? It means that all of them have their own windows. It's because in each block, there's only 4 units over here. So with just 4 units, it's actually easier for the developers to add a window and make sure that you're not facing directly to your neighbor, or you're not facing the wall only, and the ventilation is better. So for the Coastal Cabana layouts, good news is that there's a lot of window in this whole entire space area. In addition, if you're looking to hack one of your walls in the future, even though I do not recommend my buyers or sellers to do so because it'll be harder for you to sell in the future, there are hackable walls over here. So for those that are not colored, you can actually hack the walls and choose to have a more flexible layout. If you want to have a bigger living dining area, or you want to have a bigger master with a wardrobe, then these are the options that you can do, because all the units in the Coastal Cabana can be hacked if you don't want the walls to be there. Next, we have the C2 layout and also the C3 layout. So the C2 layout and the C3 layout, honestly, I feel that the difference is not very huge because the size difference is 915. In total, the difference between C1A, C1B and also C2 or C3 is only 4 square meter. So the question is, where do this 4 square meter goes to? If you look clearly, the 4 square meter actually goes to here, the additional yard area and a small study alcove for the C2 layout, and for the C3 layout is actually the study over here. So the difference is not very huge. The main area difference is the study versus if you were to look at the common rooms, the living room size, the balcony and also the home shelter, all the sizes are exactly the same. So the only difference is in the study, the WC, or also the yard area for the different layouts. So which is a better layout for the 3 bedrooms? Honestly, I would prefer the C3 layout because the C3 layout, the study have a flexibility for you to make it into a proper study, or you can also hack it to become like a walk-in wardrobe, which is similar in the show flat. Or if you were to do a customized bed, you might be able to put a bed instead of putting the bed for your helper in the home shelter area over here. There is actually much more flexibility for this C3 layout instead of the C2 layout. So my prioritization will be the C3 layout first. However, if you're someone who prefer additional WC, then maybe you want to choose a C2 layout. But some people will say, I don't want to wash too many toilets. So if you don't want to wash too many toilets, then C3 might be a better choice. So then you can choose C1A or C1B. So this is a summary for the 3 bedroom. In total, there are 4 layouts. The preferred sequence will be C3 first because the study is something that is much more flexible and you can use it. Then the C1A, C1B followed by the C2. If you're someone with a tighter budget but you still want a proper 3 bedroom, then I'll highly recommend you to go for the lower and middle 4 floors and don't prioritize the sea view, because as I shared earlier, the sea view will have a premium and often the premium may not be worth it in the long run. So you can choose to go for the lower or middle 4 first. And if your budget is very close to the 1.7 or 1.75 million dollars, you might think, should I go for the high floor sea view for the 3 bedroom layout? My advice is that if you do not have a very good queue number, you can also consider to upsize to a 4 bedroom classic or deluxe, because the lower floor for the 4 bedroom classic or deluxe have a very close price to 1.7, 1.75 million dollars. Also in the future, you will have a better returns because of this correct decision that you made today. And in terms of the stack selections, so my first priority will be the ones that are closer to the bus stop and also the mall, because that will be actually more convenient for you to go to the mall and also the bus stop in the future. And your consideration will really be, do you really need the study or WC? Because if you're someone who's prioritizing the WC or study, which is the C2 or C3 layout, honestly the price jump is not very high difference because the difference in size is only 4 square meters. So you can choose to have the bigger layouts if your ballot number is very good. And if your ballot number is towards the back, then perhaps you have to consider C1A, C1B. And if the premium for the sea view is less than 100k, I feel that it's something that you can consider. If it's too large, then you might need to decide on the day itself, is it worth it? Or you can give me a call then lah. So next we'll move on to the 4-bedroom unit selections, because if you're looking at somewhere with a higher budget, then you want to consider the 4-bedroom classic and deluxe options for the lower floor. So the size for the 4-bedroom classic D1 layout is 990 square feet and have a total of 59 units. There's really not a lot of options. If you're looking for something that is within your budget of $1.75 million or $1.8 million, then this is actually a very good option because you have 4 proper bedrooms. But take note that the bedroom 4, which is over here, the size is actually 7 square meters. So for 7 square meter, you can only put in a single size bed. And for the D2 layout over here, the size will be slightly bigger, 8 square meter, you can put in a queen size bed. So for both layouts, you do have an additional WC and also a yard space. So this will be very comfortable for you to actually use this for additional guest toilet, and also you can potentially do a stygian and hang your clothes around this yard area, or do a separate washer and dryer in the WC area. So this gives you more flexibility if you're choosing a 4-bedroom layout. In terms of facing, you can see that the stacks are over here. So you do have units that are over here for the different layouts that you're choosing. So feel free to zoom in when you have time to see the exact facing when you shortlist the unit. So in total, there is 6 different layouts for the 4-bedroom. So moving on to the second and third layout for the 4-bedroom, D3 over here is 1055 square feet. And the difference is that you have an additional dry kitchen over here, and the 4th bedroom, you can now put a proper queen size bed. So if you remember correctly, D1 you have a 7 square meter bedroom 4, D2 you have a 8 square meter bedroom 4, and D3 onwards you have a proper 9 square meter bedroom 4. So if you're someone who really wants a proper bedroom size where your kids and also your family, your parents can have a comfortable stay in a proper 4th bedroom, then I'll recommend you to consider from D3 onwards, so that you really can have very comfortable stay in a 4-bedroom. And for D4 units over here, we do have sea view facing units. So for D4, it's actually separated into D4 and D4B units. So for D4 units, you will notice that for stack 5, level 3 to level 5, and also stack 9, level 1 to level 5, you will be actually facing the sea. Then we'll look at the D4B layout later. So the difference between this layout versus a D3 layout is that number 1, you actually have a bigger living and dining area. So the living and dining area is much more bigger because this is 6.8 meter versus 6.68 meter over here. Also, you have an additional study over here, very comfortable. Again, a 4 square meter study over here, which you can also use it to combine as a wardrobe with the master bedroom area. And last but not least, there is an additional walk-in wardrobe over here, because if you notice the other layouts, their wardrobe is over here where you only have 1 wardrobe, versus D4 onwards you have 2 wardrobes, 1 for the wife and 1 for the husband. So if you are someone who prefer like a bigger master bedroom and you want to extend your master bedroom, then this will be a very good option because you have the additional study and also your walk-in wardrobe is also much more bigger. Then you want to consider a D4 layout instead of a D3 layout. And next, for the units that are also facing the sea view, which is the stack 5 and 9 for level 6 to level 11. One unique thing is that there is one more additional balcony. So there is 2 balconies in this whole entire unit. This is good for families that likes to have coffee, or maybe you like to have some break after taking care of your kids at night. Then you can have your privacy at this additional balcony. So total, the balcony size is actually much more bigger than the C3 and also the normal C4 layout. So this is a C4B layout, total of 1216 square feet. This layout is very rare because we only have 12 units that are above level 6 to level 11 that are facing the sea. So there's only 12 units for you to select. If you have a good ballot number and you really love sea view, then this is one of the unit that you can consider. Last but not least, we have the last 4-bedroom layout, which is D5 of 1206 square feet. So this layout will give you a very comfortable living and dining area, plus you do have an additional study at this area. So at a glance, your living and dining area is really expanded, because if you choose not to have a study, then you have this whole area to use. But if you want to enclose it out such that you can maybe have a extra study, a helper space, or extra storage area, this is also doable. Then you can use this whole entire space over here. Sometimes buyer will prefer this layout of D5 as compared to the previous layout of D4, whereby the study is in a master bedroom, because in a master bedroom, the only way for you to use the study study is either you use it with the master bedroom or you just use it as a separate. But in this living room area, it gives you more flexibility because if you were to do the study area, you can also perhaps do one that is half glass and also half partition. Then you can have a very good view. It still feels very big in terms of the whole entire living space. There's more areas for you to play around if you choose the D5 layout. So the D5 layout will be facing here with these different stacks: stack 21, 26, 38 and also 41. Once again, for the bigger layouts, you do have a dry kitchen. You also have the WC and yard space for these layouts over here, and your wardrobe is 2 closet instead of 1 closet for the master bedroom. So to summarize, there's actually 6 different layouts for the 4 bedroom. So my preference is that if you're looking for a proper 4 bedroom that allows all the different rooms to fit in a queen size bed, you should go for D3 first, followed by D5. While by the balcony is very efficient and you can use as a proper study or also as a helper's room, as a storage room. Then the D4 layout, D2 and D1. If you're someone with a tighter budget, go for a lower quantum first. Prioritize a lower quantum of D1 and D2. And if your budget is closer to a 2 million, then you can consider upsizing to a 4 bedroom plus study or flexi for the lower floors so that you can actually have a better returns in the future. And if your budget is closer to $2.2 million, then you can consider upsizing to a 5 bedroom premium. But bear in mind, for those of you that are eligible for a EC, executive condo, your income ceiling is 16k. So for 16k income ceiling, your loan will be around 1 million in total. So if you're looking for something that's beyond $2 million, it means that you must have around $1 million cash and CPF together. So make sure you work out your budget before you select the units for the 4 bedroom or the 5 bedroom, because often there's bounce out unit for the bigger layouts because their agent didn't help them to calculate properly whether they are eligible for it, and also help them prepare to ensure that they have enough down payment. If you are doing a bounce out unit, at the end of the day you lose out 25% of whatever you paid, and this is not a small amount. So for the preferred stacks for D3 and D5, it will be over here. I will prioritize those that are facing the pool, so maybe level 3 to level 7 will be my top choices. So if you're considering for 4 bedroom unit at the Coastal Cabana, what you want to consider is that, do you really need the study or flexi? Because of this study and flexi, the difference in the price quantum can be 200 to 300k. And also, do you really need to have a sea view facing unit? Because if you have a sea view facing unit, the premium can be more than 150k. If it's less than 150k, then maybe you can consider, of course, the lower the premium, the better it is for you as a buyer, because when you want to exit in the future, it's actually much more easier. So we've gone through the 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Now we're moving on to the last layout, which is the 5 bedroom layout. 5 bedroom layout are very rare in executive condo ECs, and we do see a lot of buyers also going for the 5 bedroom because they want to have both their parents stay with them and also with the kids. This makes it easier for them to actually have their daily activities going on. So some people will prefer a proper 5 bedroom layout. If you're choosing a 5 bedroom layout, good news for you, all the layouts are actually facing the sea, or you're closer to the sea view. It depends on whether you're level 1 to 5 or level 6 to 11. As I shared with you earlier, if you're looking for a sea view facing unit, definitely I recommend for you to go level 8 and above, because you're going for level 8 and below, then your sea view might be blocked by the condos in front of you or might be blocked by trees in the parks. So for sea view facing units, you need to go above level 8. So for these 2 layouts, the square feet size is 1367 and 1421 square feet. Where did the difference actually goes to? It actually goes to the larger balcony. So you can see that the balcony over here for the E2 is much more bigger than the balcony here for the E1 layout. The main difference for the balcony is so that you can enjoy the sea view, because if you're already going for level 6 and above, of course you want to enjoy the sea view all around, then the balcony is something that is worth paying for. But because of the balcony space, likelihood you're also paying for a higher price, then you need to consider really your budget. Is it within your budget? Because as I shared with you earlier, if your income is around 16,000 to be eligible for this EC, your loan is maximum up to $1 million, which means you really need to have a lot of cash for this 5 bedroom layout. You need to make sure that both you and also maybe your parents, if your parents are staying with you, you have enough cash and down payment for this development to choose a 5 bedroom layout. And you also need to ensure that your loan at the end of the day is also eligible after buying this unit. So the main difference between the 5 bedroom and the 4 bedroom, apart from the balcony, is also there's one additional bedroom over here, and there's also a bathroom 3 over here, and definitely your counter space for the dry kitchen is much more bigger, and you also have a bigger yard space along with a WC. There's also an additional utility room for your helper, so it's not just one bomb shelter over here, it's also one more additional utility room, because for such a big size, definitely you need extra space for your helper. So this this makes it easier for your helper to stay in the utility room, and your proper storage area in the home shelter over here. So this layout is actually very beautiful. The only concern that I have for you is that, are you eligible to buy this 5-bedroom? Should you opt for this 5-bedroom or 4-bedroom if the cash is actually very tight for you? Because you need to ensure that you have the cash in 4 years. Let's say if the EC is being built in 4 years, and if they TOP earlier, maybe in 3 years, do you have sufficient cash? So this is something that you need to calculate before you actually choose this 5-bedroom layout. Of course, if you were to ask me, my prioritization will be E1 first, my first choice, then E2, because as I shared with you earlier, according to statistics, if you're looking for investment and own stay, definitely paying a premium for a sea view is something that's not worth it. So likelihood E1, being smaller size and also not facing the sea because it's lower floor, you will have a much more better price as compared to E2. So my prioritization will be E1 first, then the E2 layout. So many buyers have also asked me, should I wait for the next EC? Maybe I should wait for Tampines EC or some EC that is in the west side, in the north side. So here's data for you, and you can actually decide, should you wait for the next EC? So these are the current EC prices and also the average price of the EC that have been transacted. So in 2024 and before, 2025, and then I'll show you 2026. So 2024, we actually have Novo Place EC, Altura EC, and Lumina Grand EC. Back then, the land bid price for this EC are already close to $700 and below $700. In 2025, we do have new record high of $700 and $721. So this brings up the average price that is transacted for the ECs across Singapore, because if you look at the average price, it started from 1,477 to 1,514, then 1,600 plus, 1,700 plus. So my next question is, what will be the average price for 2026 if you were to wait for the next EC? If you were to miss this Pasir Ris EC, you just need to know what price will you be moving on to next. Does it mean that you need higher cash flow, or does it mean that maybe you choose a smaller layout in the future? So this is what you need to beware of before you make the decision. And moving on to 2026 and beyond. So 2026, we will be having 2 ECs. So the first one is right now the Jalan Loyang Besar, which is the Coastal Cabana EC. Then the Tampines Street 95 EC that will be going on in March. So if you're looking for this Tampines EC, then please make sure to contact me, because definitely this will be a one-day sold-out EC, and there will be a lot of preparation needed for the shortlisting and also choosing your unit before that. Then we have the Woodlands and also Sembawang EC, but you can see that the prices are still increasing in terms of the land bid price, even though the location might not be as matured as Tampines area or as matured as the Pasir Ris area. So definitely, if you were to ask me, I wouldn't wait lah if I were you, okay? So question for you is to think about the estimated PSF price for the Tampines EC and decide whether is it worth waiting for you. Will you rather put yourself in a situation whereby you wait and then it's harder and harder for you to be eligible because of the income ceiling and also the cash outlay that you need to have? So for the Tampines EC, the name is already out. It's Rivel EC. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. So RIVELLE Tampines EC. So this EC is actually very exciting because it's very close to the Tampines West MRT station, and there's a total of 5 bidders. Based on the land bid price and also the break-even price, we can roughly estimate how the prices will be moving forward in the future. So what we do have is Coastal Cabana EC price. So what we do have is the Orel EC price, and right now we will be going through the Costa Cabana. But if you were to use the prices for the land bid and break even, you can roughly estimate what will be the prices for the Rivel Tampines EC. So likelihood it will be from 1,007 to 1,009. If for the higher floors, it might even hit 2,000 PSF. So for 2,000 PSF, it's actually very close to some of the OCR current new launches out there. So if you're waiting, that's what will happen for the Tampines EC that is coming forward in March 2026. So this is a summary for the Coastal Cabana EC. So the average price for this condo, I think, will be around $1,780 PSF. And really, there's a lot of advantages for this Coastal Cabana EC because it's right next to malls, parks, and there's 2 sheltered bus stops whereby you can go to different areas. And in the future, there will also be the new Cross Island line, so it'll be very convenient for you to go to different parts of Singapore. All the units are north-south facing, so there's very good ventilation and also privacy. There's no west sun, there's no bad facing. We are also not facing any expressway, MRT, or industrial. In terms of feng shui, you don't need to worry about all this, and your consideration should be, because this is really the last spot in the Pasir Ris area, and also, you know, there's no more sea facing ECs in Singapore. Do you want to consider this EC? And also, if you are already having a very good ballot number, should you pay the premium for this sea facing EC? And once you have get a unit in the Costa Cabana, what is also your exit plans in the future after the EC MOP? Because you know that for this EC, you definitely make money for the Costa Cabana. What are your plans afterwards? My advice advice is that for the sea view facing units, only if you're planning to hold very long term like 10 years, 15 years or more, then you can choose it. Otherwise, if you're looking for investment and maybe you want to exit in the next 5 to 8 years, then you should prioritize more on the quantum in terms of the price and not choose the more premium facing units, because for this Costa Cabana you can easily go to the roof garden anytime to look at the sea views and bring your friends and family there, so you need not buy a sea view facing unit just to enjoy the privilege of staying in Coastal Cabana. So these are the tips for buyers out there, or if you're currently owning a HDB and you're looking to upgrade, you do need to consider these options. Please plan ahead before you're priced out, because if you have seen the EC prices over the years and you've seen how much profit they have made, if you continue to wait for the next EC, you will definitely be priced out. Also, you need to do it while you're eligible. So the ceiling for EC is 16,000. And for all my buyers and clients out there, I always tell them these 3 things. Number 1, you need to buy and upgrade as young as you can. So even for me, I've already bought my first property and I honestly do not regret it. And don't max out your budget. Have a savings of around 12 to 24 months and talk to a trusted agent, because a trusted agent can do so much for you. You don't just choose in terms of the entry price. You must think about your exit in the future and understand the hidden cost. It could be the price gap if you get into a resale, it could be a renovation, it could be timing the market facing and also the floor plan. So there's a lot of things that you need to consider. So talk to a trusted agent, and if you haven't already done so, feel free to PM me for a quick chat or join this Telegram good chat over here. So I'll be sharing with you the timeline of the Coastal Cabana EC. So for the Coastal Cabana EC, when you're watching this video, maybe the EC show flat have been closed because the e-app period is from 6 to 21 December. So the ballot result will be on 13 January, whereby the price review will be on 14 and 15 January. Then the actual booking day will be 17 January. So these are the timeline for the Coastal Cabana EC. If you have already missed it, no worries. The next EC will be a Tampines EC, which I've already shared with you. All you need to do is really to contact me so that you do not miss out for the next EC, because the next EC will definitely be 100% sold out on the day itself. And if you still don't know what to do about shortlisting your unit, whether you should pay for the premium, and you're very confused, just drop me a text and I will be happy to reply you when I have time. So thank you so much, and remember to help me like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.